Lights, camera, action.
You are now listening to the Onboard Podcast with Morgan and Ashley,
where we make boredom look good.
Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 5 of the I'm Bored podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Morgan, my beautiful bestie co-host, Ashley Clark. And thanks so much for tuning in.
God, you said my government name.
A.E. Clark.
A.E. Clark.
But yeah, so episode 5, season 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love hearing everyone's comments, and we love that you guys are all chiming in and saying you like this season and telling us what you want us to talk about. And this episode, we really delved into a lot of stuff that some of our friends and some of you online were wondering about. So a couple topics will be how to know when a man is ready to date seriously, dating in your 30s versus dating in your 20s, the whole scene, online dating, gaining confidence after a breakup, and then the rise of prostitution and the OnlyFans. Lord, in the name of the... Speaking of tongue.
All right, so let's get into it. Delving into dating in your 30s. It's a crisis.
See my face? I'm just blinking because I'm just like, where do we start? I mean, I feel like we could have a whole separate podcast just of the traumas and the stories, the crazy stories that people have had.
I love boys. I love men. I like being around the male energy.
Masculine.
Yeah, I like the essence of men. I like the handy capable.
Oh, yes, I love a handy capable.
Yeah, I mean,
Can you fix that? Can you get...
I definitely am not a man hater.
I'm not a man hater.
But, there is that big movement of women online, like, all men are trash, men are scum.
I mean, where would we be without men?
But dating in your 30s is definitely interesting. I think dating men in your 30s is interesting because it's, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
No, you cannot.
And he's got to want to be, a certain type of boyfriend, a husband, right, or whatever. So
right.
It's definitely interesting. You left the dating market in your 30s.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I'll tell you this, and this was actually the other story I was going to tell. I was dating someone during COVID, and I feel like I stayed later than I should have because it was COVID. And, that person had all the things on the outside that I wanted. Like, he had the good job. He was tall, had a horrible family life, which I did not like, but had the beautiful house. He was handy. He built this whole house. It was on the water. Like, all the trappings, all the things that I've said I wanted, but his personality sucked. So literally after that, and I go and move back to my small apartment in Arlington, Virginia, and I was like, oh God, I'm back here again. But I also felt this sense of relief, like I can just be myself. And that was probably September of 2020 till summer of 2021. And I feel like that was a great period of time in my life.
Yeah, you do say that, but let's touch on something you just said. So he had a crappy family life. What does that mean?
He didn't really speak to his sister. His father was remarried and they were cordial, but not super close. And he had a very hostile relationship with his mother. And when I say hostile, I mean they would talk, but he was very, you could tell he was just doing things to placate her. And he would talk about her behind her back. He'd say things. I kept trying to get close to her, and he'd say things like, oh, you remind me of her because she wants material things too. Stuff like that.
I don't take judgment in the relationship someone has with their family because the family might be horrible.
You're right.
And it sounds very judgy.
I retract that statement from the jury.
But you're not alone.
But I also do, if we're going to talk about family stuff, I also feel like almost everyone I've dated like my family is great and their family, there's always some sort of issue.
Well, all families have issues. Your family is the odd man out, right?
Yeah.
It's not normal for parents nowadays to have been married for a billion years.
Right.
The family unit to still be wholesome and together. And I mean, you guys still take family vacations.
So, isn't it?
No, it's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. But I think that there's something to be said for people. People do judge other people based off of their families. And I think that that's such a unfair.
Correct. And that's not where I was going with this. I mean, that was I guess the thing with his mother really just like, men and their mothers, like,
Sure.
I don't know. It's just something in that was like a thing that will forever stick out with me.
Yeah.
But that was not the reason I left. Like, we talked about this.
Yeah.
He was really worried
Sure.
about COVID.
It's just something to note.
I will think of that next time I bring that up. Thank you for pointing that out.
Sure. These apps are wild too out here, dating.
Well, and that was kind of like, we just got off topic a little bit, but that was my point, was like, after I got out of that and I was on the apps and I dated that one guy that was like the severe love bomber. And I tell you about him. I dated him for like a month. I was like at his house all the time. I thought this was like, oh, this is great. Someone's obsessed with me, like the world should be. We've talked about this on here. And then turns out, oh, he was trying to date one of my friends from college. And I was like, okay, no more apps. I will meet someone out. And if I didn't meet someone out, I was like, it's fine. And I remember I went and lived in Miami for a month. And I literally remember walking around the city and being like, my job is doing great. I look good. I feel good. I'm out in this beautiful hot weather. I have amazing friends. And I was like, if I don't find a man now or in the next year or in 5 years, I was like, I'm okay because everything is really good for me. And then that's when I met Christopher. And I feel like that's how the world is. Like when you are okay with yourself and where you're at, I feel like then your person comes along.
When a hero comes.
I don't know about a hero, but it's funny about like the men dating seriously, because I asked him yesterday, like when I was typing up all of our prompts and, getting organized for this week. And I looked at him and I said, well, how did you know you were ready to date seriously? And his eyes got all wide. And I was like, no, I'm genuinely asking. Like, I need this for the pod. And he was like, well, I wasn't. And I was like, what do you mean you weren't? He was like, I didn't think I was going to get married or didn't think anything serious was going to happen for me. And he was like, and then I met you and that all changed. And I was like, really? I was like, are you just saying that? It's kind of cheesy.
But also interesting that he didn't think that way. And then 3 years in, you're still not engaged.
Really? I hope he watches this episode.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's a tell.
Hey, I've said these same things. Who knows where we'll be in a couple of podcasts after this? That could be a whole other story.
Some of the best dating advice is if you are using the apps, right? And you match
a good one
and use the good ones. And the good ones, Luxy, Raya. However, if you match with somebody on a dating app, they need to pull you off that app right away. That's how you start the intentional path of success. So you don't spend all this time in the talking, texting
on the
app. They pull you off the app and in person right away. Because as women, you're texting, good morning, good night, and you're getting emotionally involved. You haven't even met this person yet.
That's very good.
So if you're going to date somebody off the apps, it needs to be you match and they need to right away. Like, when do you want to get dinner? When,
right.
For me, I match and it's literally no joke. They'll go, I'm coming into town. Like, when can I come in and see you? When can I take you to dinner? And I kind of set that standard in the beginning where I, even on my profile, and it's a cute haha to make it lighthearted, but it said, if you don't believe in FaceTime, swipe left because I don't want to end up in your freezer.
This is also good advice.
So if you're on the dating apps, they need to pull you off the app right away. They need to meet you in person. And if you're dating with intent, do not sit there and mess around and just chit chat.
Right.
And chit chat.
Right.
Chat.
And I feel like that's something that like probably our listeners, some of our friends that are single, like they don't think to do those things. They don't think to look for those things. They don't think to ask for those things. And because we know a bunch of women that are, oh, I was talking to this guy, and I'm like, if you're just having fun, cool. But like, if you're looking to date with intention, date to get married, then like you should be asking for those things or looking for those things. But what would you say are the signs for men? If you're talking to a guy and you're like, is this man ready to get married or date seriously? Like, what are the, like, what could be some signs for people to look for, I guess? So besides what you just said, like, so he needs to pull you off the app.
Right.
Like,
so I think it's twofold. Okay. So I think he has his financial house in order, right?
Mhm.
He is financially stable,
right.
owns his own place, knows where he's going. If he doesn't own his own place and he rents, he has a game plan. You know, next year I'm going to buy a house. That's my plan. His finances are in order, right? Because it's locking into that like provider mindset. He's mentally getting himself ready to provide for somebody else.
Right.
He doesn't spend all of his time out at the bar because he's not interested in the scene.
Right.
So financial independence, open communication. He is open about discussing, yeah, I want to get married. That's my game plan.
Right.
I mean, most men, I've been engaged 3 times. Every single one of them talk off the bat. Like, I want to get married. This is my plan. I want to have children.
Right.
Do you want to have kids? They're not afraid. So you got to look for those open communication signs. Then I would say, you know, is he willing to make sacrifices? I think compromise is one of the biggest things to how you can tell a man is ready to get married. You know, he might not like the ballet or the opera.
Right.
But he's willing to take you and not sit through it and be miserable.
Right.
Actually enjoy it because it's something that you enjoy.
Right. No, I think that's important.
You know?
Yeah.
This article said he's no longer interested in the single scene. He wants to be a dad or is going to be a stepdad. He's saving money. He talks about the future more. I think all of those things go together. But I will say this, because there is instances where a girl will date a guy for 5 years and that guy will never propose to her. And then
I've seen it. I've seen people do 10 years.
And then he'll turn around and he'll
marry someone else.
Someone for 6 months and marry her.
Right.
Baby, it is not you. You are not the girl for him. You just weren't the girl for him. You don't need to lose more weight. You don't need to get a better hobby. You don't need to take care of him any better. You just literally weren't the girl for him. I think what women don't realize, and these questions should be asked in the beginning, what does your wife look like? Men know. Men know secretly what their wife looks like to them. What does your wife look like? What does your family life look like? Right. I've had girlfriend in particular that I'm thinking of. She and I had this conversation. Her and her man had been together for like 4 years. She went home and asked him, he's like, oh, I always imagined my wife would be a blonde and blah, 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 blah. She's a brunette. Come to find out they break up. He marries a blonde.
That's weird. Never thought to ask that question.
It's just men know. It's just women don't ask the right questions. I think if you're really dating with intention in your 30s, you need to sit down and have the hard conversation.
Right.
That shouldn't be hard, because if you're with an emotionally mature man, he should be able to handle that.
This is true.
And then I also think that, you know, you got to stand on business. I have cut things off because I don't like the way you're talking to me.
Right.
I don't enjoy the way you're talking to me. I have brought it up once.
Yeah. You've done that in the beginning.
Yeah.
Which I think is really key.
Because the beginning is when it's easy. So whatever happens at the beginning of your relationship, just amplify that times 10 when the butterflies are gone.
Oh,
There's kids and bills. So if you're going to talk to me disrespectfully in the beginning or make certain jokes about things, and I politely say to you, because I'll give you a chance.
Yeah, I remember you.
Yeah, hey, this isn't working for me. Like, you just can't talk to me like that. And then they don't take that and change. I'm out. Thank you. You're showing me that you're just not emotionally like where I need you to be. And ladies, you really need to take that into account. Stand on business. You've got to respect you before he will respect you. And if you don't respect you, how is he going to respect you?
Just like if you don't love yourself, who's going to love you?
Well, and you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself.
There's also that. I hear you.
Right?
I mean, there's this one article that talks about, this is from a woman from Pop Sugar, and she says what she learned from dating in her 30s. And what's this one? She's like, red flags are important, but so are the green ones. You know, and then it also says, it's okay to be a romantic person, but it's not okay to sacrifice boundaries, like exactly what you just said. She also said that waiting to have sex does matter. We've talked about that. Because a lot of us, like, words of affirmation are our love language. So you see this text, you hear these words, and I know I'm like that. And it's like, oh, he misses me, he likes me. And then, you know, you're forming this emotional attachment, and then you get physical, and then there's the oxytocin and all that, and then you feel like you're already like caught up. This says that dating apps are a form of social media that some people just use for entertainment.
Sure.
Which you have to weed that out. Like, I mean, and I know people that would do that. Like, they just be like, oh, I'm just bored. Like, so I'm just going to swipe. And I'm like, I get that. But like, if you're trying to date intentionally, like, that's probably something you shouldn't do.
I heard a really amazing thing the other day, and it started with the word ship. What is a ship? A ship is a vessel to take you somewhere, right? To take you on, to move you forward. Relationship, friendship, internship. If they aren't moving you forward in your life, bringing you to a better place, putting you in a better place, that is not a ship.
It's a sinking ship.
No, it's not. It's not even a ship. It's stagnant. It's nothing.
It's wood in the water.
Yeah, no, you're just standing there on solid ground, not going anywhere.
At least the ground is solid.
So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we really need to think about it. Like, is your partner pushing you forward? Are they bringing out the best in you? When you guys argue, is one of you pouring gasoline on the fire, or is one of you putting it out, or are you both coming together? I mean, there's so many things that dating in your 30s, you really like start to look at, and hopefully it's because you learned all the lessons in your 20s.
Well, we're still learning lessons. Oh, I mean, I'm learning lessons every day.
Yeah.
I feel like she's speaking to me a lot with this.
I mean, I'm speaking to a bunch of people. I mean,
but you know, everything's a lesson.
For sure.
But what about, and especially after everything you went through, like, do you think like some people need confidence boosters or mental health?
For sure. I think that I waited to date, 6 months after.
I feel like that's key.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
I always joke, right? The best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else.
I mean, yes and no, right?
I think with this one, for me,
the answer was no.
The answer was no. And quite frankly, though, like, think of who is on my roster right now.
Right.
And that, I don't think that would have happened without 6 months of tuck into the gym, lose 25 pounds, hit up the therapist every single Monday.
Right.
Go to, I have my life coach.
Yeah. Seeing me 1-2 times a week.
Tucking into my girl, getting my hobbies back. So that when you go to date, a guy's going to ask you, oh, who are you? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And you're like, oh, this is who I am. These are my hobbies. I have a life so far outside of you. I'm not going to be up your ass.
And see, and you did the work. Like, you did that. And like, I honestly feel like that's why when I was single, I was literally just like happy because I was like, I was working and I had these hobbies and I had good friends and I was just literally like enjoying life. And it's like, that's when people come along. But also if you're dating with intention, you know what you're looking for. You know what you want. You know what you don't want.
Sure. I also think too, if you want a high value man, you need to be a high value woman.
That too.
So what does a high value woman look like to me? I volunteer. I'm involved in my community. I give back. I'm philanthropic. I'm learning another language because I'm constantly trying to
see.
I am keeping my body and face and everything right. Because
when you look good, you feel good.
Ladies, if you aren't taking care of mind, body, and soul, you're not going to attract somebody that is going to take care of your mind, body, and soul. If you look at yourself as a prize, prizes are meant to be won. If you're not looking at yourself like that, you're not going to attract that.
Also, the treasure doesn't do the hunting.
No.
Write that down.
Right.
I think those are all really, really good tips. I found this one article about being confident. Take care of yourself. Identify your needs. Let go of the past. Look your best. Be independent. Keep your identity. Lean on your friends. These are all we basically all said all these things.
I also think confidence starts with small steps, right? So, and positive self-talk. The 3 C's, check, challenge, change. So,
Therapist Clark
check
is in the building.
So check what you're saying, challenge what you're saying, change what you're saying. It can start with the littlest things, oh, my blush looks good today. Right. Little bit of confidence, a little sprinkle on the confidence salad. Oh, I'm going to get up. I'm going to make my bed.
Yes.
So you make your bed. Every time you walk past your bed, you're subconsciously little sprinkle on the confidence salad.
I 100% abide by the bed thing.
Yeah. But even it's little bits of confidence that go a long way. And I'll give you an example. An everything shower for me. In everything shower, I step out of that shower like Beyonce.
Right.
I am like
the lather, the shade,
the moisturizer,
the hair, the brush,
everything.
The dry brush
is skinning. I am. And
I love those or nice.
I call it a Beyonce shower. I know, just because she's like, oh,
she glows.
She glows. But it's stuff like that where it doesn't even have to be. Obviously working out is fantastic. You should
endorphins,
but you should be doing little things throughout your day that bring you joy
and,
that give you confidence. It also gives you something to talk about, right? Like you're talking to a guy on the phone.
What did you do today?
Think about in LA. We talk every single day.
Right.
If I don't have tidbits of how boring would that conversation?
I didn't do anything. I worked.
And that's the other thing. If I don't have anything concrete to talk about and I'm not
doing something wrong
and I'm not, no, if I don't have anything concrete to talk about or I'm not in the mood to entertain someone else or learn about them because we all get in those moods.
Right.
I don't take the phone call.
I also think that's key.
Yeah.
It's okay to
systematically, like ladies, you got to systematically, you are the corporation. How are you going to run your business?
There are a few key people I'm thinking of, and you know them as well, who are doing the whole dating thing. It's the negative self-talk and it's the insecurities. I'll be like, oh, I'm not the thinnest person. I wish my boobs were bigger. But you know what I don't do is wake up going, oh, I'm ugly, I feel fat. No, it's I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm young, and I'm thin. And I will repeat it. And people think it's funny. Like some of my friends would laugh. I have a Post-it that would say these things. One will be on my desk, one will be at my desk at work, one's on the mirror. And it starts out kind of like, oh, this is weird. But now it's on repeat.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing I get paid very well to do the things I love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm repeating that. constantly.
Have you
Like, you have to tell yourself these things. And if it sounds funny, write it down. Write it down 10 times every day for 28 days, 30 days.
You know what's funny though too, and what you haven't even touched on yet, and I've noticed as being a good friend of yours, is your mindset towards others changes.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to lock in and turn on and really shine the inside out, now you're starting to notice the energy of others.
Yep.
You're starting to notice, hey, this person talks down on me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this person placates me.
Hey, this person's fallen off.
Yeah.
Like, I got the comment the other day from someone, oh, well, we know you have another life now or something. And I was just like, why do you constantly say these things to me? I've noticed that. And you're going to like this because it's the people who really have believed in me from the beginning, besides you. My friend calls me and she's like, I just want to check in. And I told her about the pod and how I'm helping my other friend's business and how I'm like doing these side things and, you know, just doing things that I love. And she ended the call with, I'm really proud of you for not going back.
I am proud of you. I yell at Morgan like once a week.
But like, you know, so many people, even my family, oh, you should be going back to the government. It's stable. And I feel like those are people that like, I know we just got off the topic here, but when your energy changes and your mindset and what you really want, like, you're right. You see that. You see who's really for you and you see who's with you. And this is someone that, like, you know, I pledged with her. We don't talk every day. She's busy. She has 2 small children. But like, I will say it's those people that I know that you're going to be successful. Like, keep chasing it.
Well, also,
you know, and even Chris, I know he and I have had things. We've been together for 3 years, but he has even stepped up and been like, I know we don't see each other a lot right now, but I want you to keep filming and keep taking those networking meetings and events. And he's like, I know it's going to pay off for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you.
I'll say this. A millionaire isn't going to fault you for trying to start a business. A secure person isn't going to fault you for looking your best.
Right.
A person in shape isn't going to shame you for going to the gym and making sacrifices because their energy is different.
Yeah.
So when you surround yourself with people who have passionate energy to move you forward, that's all you should be surrounding yourself with. And with the family stuff, because family, obviously.
I mean, that
you know
from a fear. That's a fear more.
You say, I'm sorry that your fears guide you. They don't guide me.
Oh, she'd love it if I fucking said that to her.
I'm sorry that your fears are guiding you. They don't guide me.
I'm gonna let her know when I say that you suggested that I said that's
nice.
But actually, no, I did speak to them. I'm talking about my mother. She hasn't listened to us, but I don't need her to hear all of this. But she actually has gotten better because I told her about all the things we're working on and all the other options. And she was like, okay, well, it sounds like you're really busy and you've got a lot of things going on, so that's good. She didn't say anything else about going back to the government, and I was thankful.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, it's okay that our views aren't aligned.
Ooh, that's a good one. I need to write that down.
Yeah. It's okay that our views aren't aligned. Just leave it at that.
And then what?
And then
I love you anyway.
No, you just
This is mother.
Well, she knows you love her. Or when someone says,
it's okay if we disagree.
Yeah. It's okay that my point is lost on you.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, yeah, okay. It's okay that my point is lost on you. It's okay that our views aren't aligned. I'm sorry that you let fear guide you. I'm sorry that you operate from because I've been saying that I have said that I operate from an abundant mentality, not one of lack. She didn't like that either.
I mean, and this will be a whole other episode.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful to have her on to really talk about the way Brenda grew up.
Yes, very different than I did.
Yes. A lot as a Black woman in America during
in Baltimore City, late 60s, early 70s.
I mean, there's a reason why.
Yes, and I have talked that out through therapy and with others. That I've also said thank you, because everything that she's done for me is why I am.
Of course.
I mean, I was drunk one time in Miami and called her and said, "Thanks for sending me to private school.
Yeah.
I have a degree." And and I mean that. I mean that like with every fiber of my being. But yes, we have very different viewpoints because of that. And you know who else has told me this? My Asian friends.
Yeah.
Because they grew up, parents struggling, and then the father made more money, and now their high school and college was very different than when they were children.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's normal, and parents, you guys can write in, but I think you're always going to fear for your children.
Yes.
I think that's a normal thing.
But I think a lot of our friends that are having kids now, they encourage.
Well, the world is different.
The world is different. I mean, if I had kids, which I'm not, I'm just a fun auntie, I'm going to encourage all my children. What do you want a pony? I'll try to help you get that pony.
Sure.
You want to go to California to be an actress? I'm going to help you in any way that I can.
Yeah.
But circling back to surrounding yourself with like the correct people and changing your mindset with dating, like I'm thinking of like one person who you just talked about the other night. Like, I think she needs to hang out with you more because she would really benefit from your energy on dating specifically. Like, I think she settles for way too because she's on the apps and all those things. And I think she's afraid. I think she thinks she's older and she's not going to find anyone. So she doesn't set these boundaries. And I'm like, you're beautiful. You're smart. You're fun. You're funny.
Yeah. If you settle out of fear and settling, right, what you will get.
Right. What's that quote from Dune?
I don't know.
I cannot be the fear. There's something. It's a really good quote. I tell you about like I will not let fear. I don't know. It's a really good.
I just saw a girlfriend of mine the other day got married, and she's in her late 40s.
Okay, good for her. Mazel.
First marriage.
Good for her. It's probably gonna be me. And even though I'm only 30,
he's a dynamo, and she waited.
I mean, there's also a whole thing with astrology, and one of my psychics told me when you have this and this, you usually get married later. And I was like,
in your 20s, date them all. And I mean
big and tall, fat and small.
Big and tall, fat and small, date them all. You gotta learn what you do and what you don't like.
Yeah.
That is the most important.
Key.
It is key for sure.
But yeah, I think like to wrap that up, like you have, if you're lacking confidence because you're out of a breakup or, maybe you're having some issues with mental health, like
you got to get you right.
You have to get you right. You have to get you right before you can get with someone else.
Correct. I think that wraps it up.
Did we want to talk about the OnlyFans?
Oh, yeah.
Houston?
Oh, we should.
So the last point that we were going to talk about was this whole thing with prostitution and OnlyFans. I feel like this is on the rise, but
I mean, it's been on the low and now it's just been brought into the light.
I mean, I have 2 girlfriends I know. Well, one was like an ex-boyfriend a while ago, but one of my friends was dating a guy recently. It's one of my friends in Florida. And she, now he probably has some drug and alcohol problems, but like she found out that not only was he cheating, but he was cheating with prostitutes. And I met this guy. I only met him once, but he looked normal, decent. I guess I'm just like, obviously it's all cheating, but like you're paying. And again, no harm to, I mean, sex workers, like, I'm like, get your money, get your bag. But like, I guess I'm just shocked that like men that like, are in these committed relationships are like going out and like paying for it. I don't know. I mean, that's separate from OnlyFans. I mean, they're like two separate things there.
Well, so Fortune came out with an article. OnlyFans reveals record-breaking revenue, raking in $6.6 billion last year.
See, and then, yeah, people wonder why people quit their day job.
Yeah. So user accounts increased by 28% in 1 year to a whopping 305,000 million fans. Yeah, that's crazy. I think,
like, I've never even been on there. Like, what's the fee? Like, what's the subscription fee? Like,
I don't know. I also know that some people put stuff on there that's not sexual.
right.
But there are people out there, this guy,
Jeffrey,
he's cheating on his wife with somebody that we know.
Oh, right. Yeah. To think, I mean,
yeah.
I'm not surprised. I know him.
He is not a prostitute. She doesn't do OnlyFans, but he pays her a couple grand a month. Scumbag. None of it matters. Does that give an excuse?
No. 100%
no. Their baby.
They have 4 children. Hey, that's why I'm also saying, like, I would love to hear thoughts. I mean, what happened to the sanctity of marriage? Is that even a thing anymore?
I don't know. I also think on the girl. I don't care. I don't think it's right. I think it's scummy. I mean, low rent.
I wouldn't be doing that.
I think it's very low rent.
Like, I wouldn't be doing it.
Just because you're miserable doesn't mean you need to ruin other people's like stuff.
I don't think she's miserable.
She does not believe in the sanctity of marriage. She doesn't believe in marriage at all.
Well, no.
That's fine if you don't believe in that. Go date a million people. But why does one have to be a married man?
I agree. I don't think like don't get married if you're gonna cheat.
He's a scumbag.
He's a complete.
He's a complete. But she should also have enough self-respect.
I don't think she cares because he's giving her money. So again, that goes back into this whole prostitution, OnlyFans, people getting paid for all kinds of things. People do dominatrix shit. People get paid to be walked around the mall like a dog. I mean, we know someone who did that. People want to be shat on, pissed on. I mean, you can literally get paid for anything. I mean, I just would love someone to pay me just for me to just sit there and while you watch TV. Great. Sign me up.
Go to the nursing homes and you're like, give me your pension, I will sit.
I mean, not the old people. I love the old folks. I will volunteer my time readily.
Yeah. I think there's so much distraction, and that's another thing with dating is there's just so much distraction there, and people really have to lock into genuine connection.
And that could be anything. Like you're talking, but you're scrolling on your phone. That's a distraction. You're dating someone seriously. Oh, but they're looking at porn every night. Like you're dating someone, you're married. Oh, but they're paying a prostitute. Like nobody just like, and again, a lot of this is all on the machines.
Yeah.
That's why back in the day, you want to get outside and meet people. But yeah, we'd love to hear your guys' thoughts.
Are you on OnlyFans? Where are you dating? Write in and let us know.
And just to recap, date with intention.
Yeah.
The only good apps are
Raya, Luxy,
Hinge. I think that's what we said. Are you dating a provider? Listen to the comments he makes.
Yeah.
Set your standards up front. Stick to your boundaries.
Take care of yourself. And that will set you up for success.
And this wraps up episode 5 of season 2. As always, be sure to follow us on Instagram. My Instagram is @clarks_life. You can follow Morgan at
Morgan Fabulous on Instagram and TikTok.
You can follow the pod at the.I'm.board.pod. You can email us at Ashley and Morgan at the I'm Board Podcast, all your questions, comments, and concerns. You can listen to us on Spotify, podcasts on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And you can follow our TikTok account as well, and my account on TikTok, which is @Clarks_life as well. This is it. Go out, date, get wild. This is the On Board Podcast. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've just listened to the On Board Podcast with Ashley and Morgan.